I can't think of a more deserving recipient of this award than Cardinal Farrell. I think it's a public acknowledgement of and thank you for all the great things that he accomplished in Dallas during his tenure here, for which all of us tonight should be very grateful.
He left an everlasting mark on the Dallas Diocese, and I think this award just says thank you to a great man.
He's very beloved here, and he earned that love by his actions here over the years, and we miss him.
I never lost my Irish accent, despite all the lessons they tried to teach me and how to say y'all. I was born in Dublin, Ireland, on the great day of the 2nd of September 1947, one of the coldest winters on record in Ireland that year.
We were 4 boys, so my mother used to tell her friends that God didn't give her a family, He gave her a boxing club. It was a very simple and normal childhood, and happy with 2 great parents.
I have 4 brothers. Brian, who's also a bishop here in Rome. And I have a brother Eamon and a brother Patrick, who have families and live in Ireland.
One of my favorite stories is when he was a child in elementary school in Dublin, and his mother was called in by the teacher for a conference, and we all know what that means. She came in, and this Irish nun said to her, reportedly said to her, "Mrs. Farrell, you have nothing to worry about Kevin getting into heaven, because the devil himself wouldn't take him in hell." And so I love that story, and I have to tell you, he's pretty proud of that story too.
After I finished high school, went into the seminary and became a priest. In 1978, I was ordained a priest. I worked in Mexico, and then in the early 80s, I was a priest in Washington, D.C. And then I became the auxiliary bishop of Washington, D.C., and on the 1st of May in 2007, I became the Bishop of Dallas, Texas, which was the furthest thing from my mind.
When he was installed on May 1st, 2007, I was standing in the procession with a priest from the Archdiocese of Washington, and he said, "You know, the worst thing you can say about Bishop Farrell is that he doesn't sing a note." And I remember thinking to myself, if that's the worst thing you can say about a person, we're in good hands.
So I guess I spent the first year of my life down there trying to cheer people up and trying to get to know people.
The most important thing he did during the almost 10 years he was in Dallas was to restore the esprit de corps of the Catholic community, which was at a pretty low ebb when he came here.
He united everybody together, and with his gifted leadership skills, we moved forward.
I tried to assure them by just being transparent. I never hid any of the good news or any of the bad news from the people.
He brought at a very critical time to this diocese the 2 things that it always has to have, which is the pastoral bishop, but he also brought the administrative bishop.
Cardinal Farrell looked at the total diocese and saw where there was need, and looked at many schools that needed renovations and remodeling, and many of the churches in the area had really fallen into disrepair. And he saw that and thought of many ways that he could improve the lives of those people in those communities.
He did so much to empower the lay faithful in working and owning their ministry within the church and helping to build up our communities.
Cardinal Farrell made it as a priority to work with religious organizations and institutions across the city and across the metro area to advance like causes, like alleviating poverty in Dallas, interfaith and intergroup relations, advancing human and civil rights, and other causes that we both hold very dear.
When he goes about doing his business, he's doing it in such a sincere way. No matter what it is, if it's the golf tournament or he's visiting a school or whatever, he's 100% there.
His plan for the Our Faith, Our Future campaign was incredible and so innovative at the time. That had never been done in the Dallas Diocese.
It really brought an awareness to all the people of the diocese of the importance of our church and our faith, not only in the church, but the community.
Cardinal Farrell wanted the seminary to be better known in the diocese. He would speak of it in public as the heart of the diocese, and he would do everything he could to gather support for the seminary.
When he got here in 2007, there were 29 seminarians at Holy Trinity Seminary, and only 2 of them were from the Diocese of Dallas. Today there are about 65 seminarians at the seminary, and 21 are from the Diocese of Dallas.
I asked if we could name the center after him. And right away he said yes, because he understood this was another way to garner support for the seminary.
The School Sisters of Notre Dame and the executive board of the school decided we had to have a capital campaign. We could not approach our donors until we made sure we had a long-term lease of the school on Bull Street. Enter Bishop Farrell. He said, I love the students of Notre Dame, and you've got the lease for as long as I, by canonical law, can do. We raised over $13 million, and the bishop was the first donor by giving us the property.
He combined a couple of schools that were underperforming in the diocese in the Pleasant Grove area. And so it was something that was really transformational. We have, 375 students at the school, and we'll be at full enrollment next year. And it's something that I think is going to be impactful for the Hispanic kids in that area for years to come.
He wanted to make sure people understood that an academic program without heaven was really worthless, but vice versa, a program that was just focused on heaven and not also on very strong academics was a waste of time and money for people in this town.
Thank you, Cardinal Farrell! The thing that happens with great leaders is they don't necessarily change the community, they help the community find its focus.
For example, the Ebola crisis. That was such a scary time here in North Texas. And who did Judge Jenkins and the leaders of Dallas turn to for help? They turned to Cardinal Farrell.
Him coming to the forefront and allowing us to take our family that was surrounded by Ebola and put them in a safe environment was a sign of really Matthew 25. And when you see a stranger, you take him in, and he did.
Someone asked him, a reporter, Bishop, why are you involved in this? And he says, we don't help someone because they are Catholic, we help because we are Catholic. That's just what we do.
How inspirational is that? How eloquent, how Christ-like. I think that inspired not only the Catholics in the community, but the entire community. And it's just an example of the many, many ways that he's inspired all of us.
I don't know what the biggest impact was. I guess I tried my best to bring the church back to life again.
One word would be collaboration.
Momentum.
Awesome.
Inviting. Joyful.
And loving.
Cohesiveness.
Unified.
Hope.
Collaborative.
Rejuvenator.
I'm Mexican, I can't say just one word.
It's a hard question. Reinvigorated.
Stronger.
Cohesive.
Proud.
Loving.
Hopeful.
Mindful.
Heart.
Rooted.
I would say inspiring.
I think if I were to say it in one word, Cardinal Farrell gave this diocese a sense of hope again, and because of him, it's filled once again with that Christ-like hope for the future.
I guess the experience I had for 10 years in Dallas helped me to understand what my job is and my task is at the moment.
Papa Francesco!
There were 3 different departments or dicasteries in the Vatican, one on the family, on the laity, and an Academy of Life. And I think the Pope wanted all of those, since they all bore on the life of the laity, to be put together and coordinated in one department. And so he wanted Bishop Farrell to take that on.
When we found out that he was being elevated to Cardinal, many people, over 200 I believe, made a pilgrimage over to Rome.
It was like being as close to heaven as you can get while on this earth. I mean, to see the Pope, to see the cardinals, and to see our cardinal, our Bishop Farrell, become a cardinal. I mean, it's just memories that will be etched in your heart and mind forever.
Seeing how loved he was by other cardinals. They all had a high regard of what role that he was going to play for the Pope.
I know he has a very difficult task ahead, but he will do what he can to make the most of it and to collaborate with Pope Francis in this important moment for the Church, for our lay people, for our families.
His Irish charm and determination, plus his experience in D.C., prepared him well to deal with whatever he may face at the Vatican.
I always remember the song, "I left my heart in San Francisco" back in the 60s. Well, I left it in Dallas, Texas.
Cardinal Farrell truly embodies the true intent of the Catholic Foundation Award. And for him to come back to Dallas and to celebrate it with us, we're so lucky and so blessed.
As the shepherd who follows him in this diocese, I'm profoundly grateful for the way in which he toiled hard in this diocese.
The great thing that he brings to any organization is his ability to communicate and his ability to inspire trust.
The thing that is so relatable about Cardinal Farrell is that he understood everyday life. And you knew that when you talked to him, and how nice to have a priest that you're dealing with that understands what your life is like.
He just cares about people, and that, I think he understands that's the Lord's work, and he does the Lord's work.
I model who I am, my priesthood, on what he has shown me.
He just really, I think, focused our community more on love and less on division.
I feel his presence in my heart every day. And I think that as our diocese, a lot of people in our diocese will feel that same presence for many years to come with the good work he did while he was here.
There's a joy here now that exists among the priests, the deacons, the lay faithful, and we're also grateful for that.
I believe faith inspires our life and helps us to do what we are supposed to do and what we are called to do as brothers or sisters who are all together in this world. And we have to make it better than we have received it.